just moves away. So I was all decked and ready to go, and I went there Saturday night. Somebody's got to pull that roll. So I feel bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, being past the stated hour, could I have your attention? I wonder if I've ever get to use that. And since we use taxpayers' money to pay for it, we must well use it once in a while, right? Anyway, thank you everyone for being here at the General Issues Committee. I want to, before I get into the verbiage here, I want to recognize that we have a pretty good crowd here and remind the crowd that be courteous and respectful as we have these discussions. I also want to recognize that We have Jessica Brennan, former chair of the school board and the trustee, and now is the chair of the darts board, and she's here. I know that Mark Mindorf, the executive director for darts, is here. Is there any other board members that I'm missing? Carolyn Fernandez. Kim is here as well. So these are the board members of darts. And I want to thank, and I believe a lot of the other people in the audience may be employed by darts. Is that correct? If you're employed by darts, put your hands up. So here we are. So obviously there's a very keen interest from not only the workers and the people that provide such an excellent service to our city, but we also have a number of people here who are actual clients of the darts system as well. And so we appreciate them being here as well, listening with great interest in respect to this presentation. So thank you all. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Members of the public are advised that our meetings are webcast live by City of Hamilton and temporarily archived on the city's website. Other individuals and the media may also be audibly and or visually recording this meeting. As well, a reminder that all electronic devices are to be switched to a non-audible function during council meetings. Madam Clerk, is there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, through you, added as item 3.1 are the minutes of Friday's GIC meeting from January 29th.
May I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended? Moved by Councillor Pearson, second by Councillor Partridge. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Declarations of interest? Seeing none, everyone's interested. 5 staff presentations, and we have Public Works Department proposed 2016 operating budget. At this point, I'd like to invite Jerry Davis and David Dixon to provide the presentation for the Public Works Committee.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll start off the presentation, and then Dave will come in with respect to 2 items. So the content for today is the department overview. Now, the package you received is very substantial, 260 slides. So I'm covering the first 28 slides, which is the department overview. At the back of that, you have each divisional budget within Public Works, but it's for information for you to review. We're not going through every one of those slides today, so we're not doing 260 slides, but all of the accomplishments, any challenges, and all the metrics, the performance measures that each division does is included in those in the information you have. So the first part of it, the department overview, as I mentioned, I will do that. Then the transit 10-year plan, again, this was approved by council last year. Dave Dixon will come up and do this. And again, there's about 45 slides, but really it's the last 10 or 12 slides that he will be going over with you. And then we have the ATS delivery, which Dave will also be reviewing with you. So again, so to get into it, again, this has been the model for the strategic service delivery and will be updated. We've been presenting this each year, and going into 2016, we will be looking at updating the strategic plan. This has been the driving factors for delivering our program and services for the last 4 years. And again, we break it into both strategic and to operating initiatives.
Oh, okay.
So the overview,
sorry. Jerry, sorry, I just had some information I provided in respect to Public Works Department Transit Division presentation, and there's some footnotes in it, and I was only given several copies, so I just hand them out. We'll get extra copies, for sure.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, is this something that's on today's agenda?
I believe so, yes.
The clerk's office doesn't have a copy.
Fair enough. I was just handing them in before I came. I just handed them before I got here. So,
Jerry, can you clarify what?
Through the, I'm not sure what you have. I haven't.
So, Madam Chair or Madam Clerk, can I get? I think I got another one here. Can I get extra copies of this? So this is a presentation that's being made today, as I understand it.
Stephanie, can I see it?
I want to make sure, because it didn't come through staff, that
No.
it's online, it's been made available to the public, that it's
So-
not different than what's in here, or it really...
Fair enough. And so this is the presentation with footnotes from the DARTS committee in regards to, like, footnotes on some of the issues for the attention of the committee to consider.
Okay, that,
So I need more copies, yeah.
I can't do it now, I'm in the meeting.
Fair enough.
And it's not, I don't have copies for the public, and it's not online, so I'm just trying to confirm why
Okay.
staff didn't
So
provide this
if you want,
today.
wish, you can hand them back to me. Want to do it that way? Go ahead, Councillor.
I'd just like to
So
know,
just
trying to
are these
understand the
documents that
context,
are
sir.
produced by DARTS, or is it come through clerks?
The presentation is produced by city. By
who?
By Mr. Dixon, and
Through you to Dave, what is this document, Dave?
So if I could, I glanced at it briefly. It's David's presentation, but there's been notes added by a third party, not by Public Works Department.
DARTS. Correct. Correct. Yep, go ahead.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, could I kindly and courteously ask, why weren't 16 copies made, please?
Sorry.
You gave out to half the table.
Yeah, that's all I had on me, so we need more. But I will get, I was just handing them before I came in.
No,
I was
I
just trying to
appreciate-
distribute what I had.
But again, Mr. Deputy Mayor, I need to follow this. Director Dixon, is this your document, please, through you, Mr. Deputy Mayor? Right here.
Through the chair, I believe this is my document extracted from Jerry's presentation with annotations added to it.
I thought you were...
On it, the red notations.
I think I,
Through you to Mr. Dixon.
Through the chair, I do not know, Councillor.
Okay, I'll relinquish it. I've been done.
so as a board member of DARTS, I can tell you that they went through the presentation, and there are notes in the presentation that was provided through DARTS for consideration. You can ignore the information. It's just, I thought this is all about ensuring that we have as much information. I don't think we have 16 copies, so we need to get 16 copies. I was just trying to provide a service by giving out what I have.
So it came from the DARTS board then, did it?
Correct. Well, from DARTS.
To you, Mr. Deputy Mayor, I'm sorry. Anything that's coming as written correspondence from an outside body needs to go to the February 9th meeting. This is not on the agenda. Nobody's aware. We didn't
Fair
accept it
enough.
through changes to the agenda. If it's considered a written submission from the DARTS board, it's not a staff presentation. It really shouldn't be before committee today. It should be provided either at Public Works if it's with respect to how DARTS operates. If it's specific to the budget, then with all the other delegations and written submissions, I would be happy to put it on the February 9th agenda so that it can be considered before, but it's being added in a...
Fair enough.
Is that
I was just
okay?
asked to hand it
All
out,
right.
and that's what I did, so sorry about that.
That's okay.
Councillor Ferguson's finished. Councillor Jackson.
You're finished, Councillor Lloyd Ferguson. Thank you. I concur with the legislative assistant, Mr. Deputy Mayor, through to General Manager Davis. Jerry, would you just confirm that that is what's happened? Because if this is from Director Dixon, we just need to know that, and all 16 of us would have been nice to have a copy. But if it is as the legislative assistant has said and what Councillor Whitehead has said from the DARTS board, can you just provide some further clarity, please?
Well, through the chair, the document that's being referred to, it's the first time I've seen it today, and it wasn't produced by Public Works Department for our presentation today.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. Mr. Deputy Mayor, with all due fairness, I haven't even got a copy, and those who got it 2 minutes ago. I don't even have a chance to read potentially what the information or the counter information is. So quite honestly, I appreciate what you were trying to do, but I'm just disappointed in the way this has been handled. Thank you.
Yes, so we're going to collect what was given, and we'll keep them for the presentation on the 19th, I think. So we're collecting them right now, sorry. Councillor? They're being collected, right?
Mr. Deputy Mayor, I gotta say, we're off to a bit of a rough start with this meeting, sir, respectfully. I'm a little bit concerned with the emphasis being put on this particular item, given that you're the chair, you're on the board. It feels like we've already in this big 200-slide presentation of Public Works, that we're giving undue emphasis and attention to a group, started with your opening statements. And I'm just wondering respectfully, without challenging the chair, might it be appropriate that for this particular one, you maybe just relinquish the chair to somebody else to be able to deal with this in a way that provides a certain level of equity for all the other items that are on this list. And I say that respectfully. I'm not challenging the chair, but I just feel like we've gotten off to a bit of a rough start here.
Councillor Partridge.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And I think, following Stephanie, our clerk's suggestions, we should just collect everything. It's not part of today's agenda. I'm very disturbed that there's comments on this, additional comments from an outside third party made on this presentation. This is a public meeting, and the public does not have access to that information, and that's wrong. So I just respectfully, I think the process is very flawed when it's rolled out like this. And to those in the audience, please go through our clerk's department. You can't just walk over and hand anything to somebody around this table. Go to the clerk's department. That's why we have them. Thank you.
Thank you. So duly noted. So let's be clear. It was handed to me before. I didn't realize how many copies I had. And then when I started handing them out, I realized I didn't have enough. So I would certainly apologize for that. I believe that the reports have all been collected and will be presented if they make a delegation status for the budget process in the near future. So I hope that solves it. It's no longer in front of us. No one's had a chance to go through it. And it's no longer a material. So at this point, Councillor Green.
Respectfully, Mr. Chair, I did have some concerns that I raised about the emphasis being put on this particular item. They weren't addressed by yourself. I'm just wondering if we found remedy to those comments.
I think my role is to be impartial, and I think I can be impartial in the chair. Thank you. Councillor, so we'll go on and move forward with Mr. Davis's presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the Public Works Department, what we have here is, it shows the overall divisions, and it's comprised of the 6 divisions as identified, and you'll see in the gray shaded areas are later Hamilton Water. So that's the rate budget which was approved in December, which Hamilton Water is part of the Public Works Department. And again, all the services that are provided are identified by the different service level programs. So challenges, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll talk about some of the key ones. Waterfront development, this is a council priority, and the emphasis here is to be development ready in 2018. The Public Works Department's portion of this is implementing the strategic initiatives and the capital improvements, such as the shoreline, the breakwater. The 10-year service plan, transit service plan, again, David's going to talk to you after my presentation about this. Going down through it, the operating impacts from growth, this is a continual impact on the operating. When a new subdivision is created, we have to provide services, winter maintenance, garbage collection, street lighting. So again, these drive the incremental operating program in place for that, but we're trying to stay ahead of the damage. All of them, but it's identified also in the budget book. So the department as a whole, we have a total of 2,264 FTE, and again, you can see Hamilton Water was approved already, but again, the 6 divisions in total and the respective directors for those divisions. The other thing that was asked is on distributed staff. So you can see in public affairs, we have 1 communications officer. In the finance and admin staff, we have 44. And in human resources, there's 8 associates. And again, these are all part of they're funded through the Public Works Department, but their direct reports are their home departments. So highlights, you have a 10-year transit strategy that was approved. We're bringing the update today. Some of the key things, and all of these highlights are identified in the individual divisional budgets. I've just pulled out a few of them for you to get a sense of the significant services we provide through the Public Works Department. And these are things that collectively the Public Works Committee, JIC and Council have endorsed over the year, and we've been able to bring this forward. Key one there, the Pan Am Games was there. Multiple asphalt road, sidewalk, concrete sidewalk, curb repair contracts. We have, in operations and engineering service, we're looking at bundling projects, which will make the technology that much greater as we deliver the service. The noise wall on the Lincoln Alexander Parkway, again, this was aesthetics, but it looks great if you go by it. The dash cam technology and waste management was very good. We can look at how the drivers are handling the vehicles in that. And again, the beautiful alleyways, again, this is something that the community is really looking forward to, so we've been working on it to ensure we can bring it forward, because with the intensification, alleyways are becoming a significant part of the community. I talked about Nemorass 4. One of the key initiatives due to the impact of growth is Parks East was split into 2 districts, east and south. So we now have the 4 districts within the city to address the growth. And you'll see after this year's winter, the operations department roads will be moving in the same direction to address the needs of the community. The east district is massive, and that's where all the growth is, Ward 9, Ward 11. And so we're looking at restructuring there to provide the better level of service. Again, the bike share program, very successful this year. We launched it. We did a soft launch in the winter. It went through the summer. There's been a great pickup on it. The Tim Hortons Field, while it still is an ongoing issue, it has been a great facility for the community, and it's a well-received new stadium that we're utilizing. And completed the operational review of Confederation Park. This is very important in that what we've done is we've split the Wild Waterworks from the park operations in order to try and establish a reserve for the ongoing maintenance of the Wild Waterworks. So this was approved by Council just in the last few months. Stable natural gas pricing, 0 budget increase from 2014 to 2015. Jeff Lupton will be doing an update on all of our energy issues and the cost that the cash savings we have, as well as cost avoidance. The Traffic Management Center has been constructed. This is a great facility in that right now we can program, I believe it's over 100 traffic signals from the location with the eventual, option to get everything done through that. It's a great success for us. State of the infrastructure report, again, we continue to update this. It's critical to address all the infrastructure within the city. This has been the first 2 bullets. We've had successful intervention at the OEB regarding our streetlight rates, and this is it's something that staff have worked along with legal and public works tirelessly on. And again, we're working with our shareholder Horizon in trying to ensure that we have an effective rate, especially when we're moving towards LED lights. And then the other one is the CRTC application for Bell Canada. We want to ensure when we're in the right-of-way and when any utility is going to put their plant in our right-of-way that we know where it's going and it's being coordinated effectively. This hasn't been the case in the past. And the city of Hamilton is on the cutting edge, out there challenging that utilities can't just go in the right-of-way. We have to let them in, but we want to coordinate it. So in 2016, are the initiatives coming up. Again, the service enhancements that are approved by Council. Again, what we did is we looked at what were our deficiencies in the system. We addressed our standards, and we're looking at the growth that's hitting the community and how do we deliver that. We've worked with the Mohawk College in completing the terminal up there. That's been a great partnership. The AVL tracking for the system waste collection fleet vehicles is very important because it will enable us to also look at route optimization as we go through the process. Crack sealing will be back again. This is a preemptive maintenance that we can do at a certain time to ensure that we can sustain the life of the road. So we're introducing that again. And then I think the fourth bullet, the planning for the expiration of the waste management contracts. We have contracts for both recycling, collection, disposal. These are coming up in 2020. Want to know what our plans are in place because you go out to tender 2 years before to look at it. You have to give, if there's a change in the ownership or the proponent, time to buy vehicles and get the necessary equipment. So that's coming up. Lean process, I'll talk a little bit more about this as we go through. We've been doing this. We've had success in the immediate comes to mind is down at the meter shop in the handling the equipment. We've also done it with the electricians and millwrights at the wastewater treatment plant. So we're continuing that as we move forward. And again, the key will be the citywide transportation master plan, which will be wrapped up in 2016 to move forward for the, what are the future plans for the city over the next 10, 20, 30 years. Solar landfill feasibility study and revenue assessment, that's underway, and we'll be coming back reporting to Public Works Committee and Council on that. And again, the red light camera program is something that we've been directed to continue with, and so we'll work with that moving forward for new locations. And I think we're getting close to the end of the pressures and challenges. Again, utilities performance in the right-of-way, especially with all the intensification. We really need to work on that. And then again, the backlog of infrastructure needs. We keep coming up with different technologies. We know it's a problem, but I think we have some very positive methodology that we're utilizing to address it. I will put up the winter control program. Again, the last update we had sent when we did our forecast year end, we were looking at between $4 to $5 million in a deficit. And again, with November and December not being on what we normally look at, we're looking at a $1.4 million deficit in the winter control program. It's important to realize we have a winter season program. Winter control is part of it, and then we have winter maintenance. Winter maintenance is the ongoing operations of maintaining the road. So right now, our winter maintenance is very active because we're not plowing, so the staff are out working on the roads, right through to litter pickup, for instance, to ensure that the maintenance is being done. The asset inventory, what you have here is, it shows the increase over the year over year in all the different assets that we own and operate. You go down through it, you'll notice on cemeteries, we have 2 new cemeteries. What happens when a cemetery is abandoned by legislation, the city is required to take it over. So we've just added 2 cemeteries to our inventory. They're at Olmsted Native and Hat Cooley. And so with these, going in, we have to maintain them, cut the grass, ensure if there's any vandalism, we have to address it. But the key is, this shows the growth in the assets